The moment the waiter spoke, my fork stopped midair. "Same table as yesterday?" he asked, pen poised, eyes flicking between me and my wife. I looked at him, then at her. Claire's face went pale, not startled, not confused, terrified. Her lips parted slightly, but nothing came out. Her eyes darted to mine, then quickly back to the waiter. He didn't seem to notice the shift in the air. "Right by the window, yeah?" Claire forced a smile. "No, we're good anywhere." The waiter gave a slight nod, oblivious. "Sure. Follow me." I stood but didn't move. "Yesterday?" I asked. The waiter turned, hesitant now. "Yeah, you guys were here around lunch? Same table?" Claire let out a nervous laugh. He must have mistaken me for someone else. "I wasn't here." The waiter frowned, clearly unsure. "You sure?" "I think I'd remember," she said, her tone sharpening. I followed silently as we were led to a corner booth. I sat across from her, watching her fingers fumble with the napkin. She wasn't clumsy. Claire was the kind of woman who folded napkins into roses for fun. But now, she was unraveling. I just didn't know why. Yet, I didn't ask more at the table. I didn't press. I listened. She talked too much about work, the weather, her sister's dog, everything except yesterday. The moment the food came, she barely touched it. Neither did I. After dinner, we stepped out into the parking lot. She reached for my hand. I didn't take it. "You want to tell me what that was?" I asked. She froze. "It was nothing. Just, he was mistaken." I stared at her. "Claire, you look like you saw a ghost." She swallowed hard. "I didn't. I just didn't like how confident he was. It freaked me out, okay?" I didn't believe her. Not even a little. But I nodded, kissed her cheek, and opened the car door like everything was fine. That night, after she fell asleep, I sat in the dark living room with her phone in my hand. Face ID unlocked it. She was trusting like that. Or careless. Maybe both. No messages. No calls. No photos from yesterday. I checked Google Maps. Location history off. Of course. Then I opened the rideshare app. She never deleted the ride logs. There it was. November 18th, 12:47 p.m. Pick up from her office. Drop off at Montclaire Bistro, the exact restaurant we'd just left. She'd been there. But not with me. The next ride was worse. Pick up, Montclaire Bistro. Drop off, 23, Winding Ridge Lane. I recognized the address. It was Julian Cross's place. Julian wasn't just a coworker. He was the reason we almost split last year. Back then, she swore it was nothing. Just flirtation. Texts. No lines crossed. I gave her one last chance. She cried, begged, promised. And for some stupid reason, I believed her. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I emailed myself the logs. The next morning, I acted normal. Made her coffee the way she liked it, cinnamon, not nutmeg, and kissed her before work. She smiled, oblivious. Still wearing the same lie like perfume. At 9:03 a.m., I called a friend who worked security at the restaurant. At 1:16 p.m., he called back. She was here, he said, with a man. Tall, dark suit, no tie. They were laughing. Looked close. Julian Cross? I asked. A pause. Then, yeah, that's him. I didn't react. I just ended the call and started drafting a plan. I wasn't going to confront her. Not yet. The trick with betrayal isn't catching them in the act. It's letting them think they got away with it. That's when they're vulnerable. That's when they slip. The next day, I booked a table for two at Montclaire. Same window seat. But I didn't bring Claire. I brought a woman named Ray. A consultant. Beautiful. Sharp. Professional. And entirely fake. She wasn't on it. We arrived at noon. Took our time. Ordered wine. Laughed. Waiters stared. One of them recognized me. I didn't care. I wanted to be seen. At 1:04 p.m., I saw Claire walk by the restaurant across the street. Phone in hand. Alone. Then she turned. Stopped. Saw me. Her face crumbled. She stood there, watching through the glass as I raised a toast to Ray. I didn't look shocked. I didn't look angry. I looked like I'd moved on. She didn't come in. She turned and walked away. Good. That night, I expected confrontation. I got silence. She came home late. No excuse. No mention of what she saw. At 2:12 a.m., I heard her crying in the bathroom. Quiet, desperate sobs. I didn't go to her. I let the silence grow. Because silence makes liars nervous. The next morning, I handed her a coffee. She took it like nothing happened. And I smiled. knowing everything was already in motion. By Friday, I had everything I needed. 3 days of quiet surveillance, app logs, timestamps, receipts. Claire didn't know it, but her patterns weren't hard to track. She left digital breadcrumbs like confetti. Same work lunches, same meeting blocks, same midday errands that just happened to align with Julian Cross's calendar. She thought she was subtle. She wasn't. She'd forgotten who I was before her, before us. My career wasn't just numbers and contracts. It was pattern recognition, risk management, identifying anomalies. She was the biggest one I'd ever seen. That night, I went home early, sat in the garage with my laptop, syncing the data into a timeline. Everything lined up. Every line matched a location. Every excuse tagged to a new ride. It was airtight. At 7:32 p.m., I walked into the house. She was on the couch, glass of wine in one hand, her other scrolling through Instagram like she hadn't detonated our marriage. "Hey, babe," she said, looking up. I smiled. "Hey." She patted the couch beside her. "Movie night." I sat down, but not close. "Sure." We watched in silence. She leaned on me halfway through. I let her feel safe. Let her think this was fixable. She fell asleep before the credits rolled. And I stayed there, staring at the screen, wondering how many nights she came home from Julian's place and curled into me like this. Like nothing was broken. The next morning, I called Julian from a burner. He picked up on the third ring. "Hello." "Hey," I said. "Don't hang up." "Who is this?" "You know who." He didn't respond. Just breathed into the line. "You're going to meet me," I said. "Alone. Public. No Claire. No lies." "Look, man. Saturday. Noon. Brew Theory on 5th. Sit outside. You'll know when I'm there." I hung up. That night, Claire was all over me. She wore the dress I once said made her look like fire. The same one she wore on our anniversary. She kissed me like she was trying to rewind time. I didn't flinch. I let her. Because she wasn't pulling me back. I was letting her drift closer to the edge. Saturday came fast. I showed up to Brew Theory in a dark coat and sunglasses. Sat across the street. Watched Julian take a seat. Nervous. Checking his phone every 30 seconds. I let him stew. 15 minutes later, I sat across from him. No words at first. Just eye contact. He was paler than I remembered. We hadn't spoken in over a year. Not since the last time I caught him sniffing around Claire's social events. "She told me it ended," I said. He swallowed. "It did." I nodded slowly. "Then why was she at your place 3 times this week?" He froze. Blinked hard. I didn't know she was still. "Don't lie." "Not now." He looked away. "She came to me. Said things with you were falling apart. That she needed someone who understood her. And that someone was you. She said you didn't see her anymore." I leaned in. "And did you? See her?" He didn't answer. That was answer enough. "Here's what's going to happen," I said. "You're going to break it off. Fully. No calls. No texts. No accidental run-ins. She won't like that. She doesn't need to like it. She just needs to believe it was your choice." Julian laughed nervously. "She's not going to let go that easily. That's why you're going to make it ugly. Push her away. Make her think she ruined something real." His brow furrowed. "Why?" I leaned back. "Because I want her to feel what I felt. The cold. The confusion. The silence." He looked at me like he didn't recognize the man sitting in front of him. Good. Because the man I used to be, the husband, the fixer, the forgiver, was already gone. 2 hours later, Claire came home angry. Slammed the door. Threw her bag down. "What's wrong?" I asked. She paced like a storm looking for land. "Julian said we're done. That I'm too much. That he's seeing someone else." I didn't blink. "Oh." She stopped. "That's all you have to say?" I tilted my head. Should I be saying more? She narrowed her eyes. "You knew?" Of course I knew. She sat slowly, like her legs had lost their strength. "You let me." She stopped herself. "Why didn't you say anything?" "Because I needed you to believe it was real. That it meant something. That you'd left a good man for something worth it." Tears welled. She didn't wipe them. "I'm sorry," she whispered. I nodded. "I know." She reached for my hand. I didn't move. Because I wasn't done. Not yet. The next morning, I handed Claire a cup of coffee like I always did. But taped to the side of the mug was an envelope. Cream. Unmarked. Heavy with weight. That wasn't paper. She stared at it, still groggy. "What's this?" "Your answer," I said. She opened it slowly. Inside, a flash drive, a single key, and a typed note with an address she didn't recognize. I watched her face change as she read. "What is this?" she asked again, more urgent now. "It's where we end," I said, "and where I start over." The key was to a storage unit. Inside, she'd find a copy of every ride log, every transaction, every chat message between her and Julian. All indexed, labeled, tagged by time and location. Alongside it, divorce papers, notarized, filed under an accelerated process. No alimony, no claim to the house, no access to our joint accounts. Already drained into a new trust under my name alone. Her eyes widened. "You planned this." "For weeks," I said. "You just didn't notice." I said I was sorry. And I said I know. I cut in. But sorry doesn't erase patterns. It just makes them harder to trust. She stepped forward, her voice cracking. "I can't lose you." "You already did," I replied. "You just didn't feel it until now." Claire fell to the floor, sobbing, a collapse of emotion she'd denied for too long. But there was no anger left in me. No fire. Only precision. I watched her break in the same silence she once used to deceive me. By the afternoon, she was gone. She didn't take much. A few bags. Some photos. None of the jewelry I'd bought her. None of the life we built. Just vanished like I had never been enough to begin with. That night, I drove to the same restaurant. Montclaire Bistro. Same table. I asked for it specifically. The waiter, the same one from that day, recognized me. "Back again?" he asked, cautious this time. I nodded. "Same table as yesterday." He hesitated. "She with you again?" I smiled. "No, she's not." He led me there. Window seat. Empty chair across from me. I sat alone. Ordered a drink. Looked out at the street where she had once stood frozen, watching me with someone else. And for the first time in weeks, I exhaled. Claire had underestimated me. They always do. The ones who mistake kindness for blindness. Who think silence means surrender. But I wasn't silent. I was preparing. They say revenge is best served cold. But that's wrong. Revenge is best served quiet, through signed documents, closed accounts, and a single empty chair at a table meant for two.